How to build an Amazon title. What does a title need to have? It needs to have keywords and it needs to showcase what features or what's included to the customer. I'm Dylan Heathcote from AMZ Joy. Let's jump into this video. Okay, so in today's video, we're going to be talking about creating titles on Amazon. Now, the importance of titles is basically 1, organic ranking and keyword relevancy. 2, showing what features or what's included in the product in the least amount of text possible. Okay, so if you have 12 jars, you just write 12 jars. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to start this video off with is Amazon released new title requirements and guidelines. A lot of people already know that most titles need to be under 200 characters. Please check for your category because there are some that are below 50, etc. So double check that before using everything in this video. But the most important thing that changed is the title must not contain the same word more than twice. For example, baby boy outfits, baby boy, fall winter clothes, baby boy. You can't use the word baby and boy more than twice. So this doesn't count for words like and things like that. And to clarify, this also counts for plurals. You cannot get away with it for plurals, all right? So I'm just gonna walk you through exactly the steps that I do and how I find my keywords to start off with, okay? So for this example, let's do a water dog bowl. Interesting choice, but let's go ahead with that. So the extension I'm gonna be using is Helium 10. I have the Chrome extension, which is what we wanna use is X-ray. So type in your seed keyword. For example, mine is water dog bowl. If you sell supplements, type in, I don't know, mango creatine. Make sure it's just relevant to what you're selling. Once you open up X-ray and it's loaded, let's open up filters, hide sponsored products from results and apply. Then let's sort the ASIN revenue by highest to lowest. Okay, and then what we're going to do is select between 6 to 10 competitor products that are relevant to mine. Okay, so you can hover over the picture and get a better idea of what it looks like. Try to pick products that are most relevant to yours. If you sell a steel dog bowl and then you select a wood dog bowl, they're still relevant, but it could show terms regarding to wood. But you get my point. Terrible example, but you understand. Okay, so I'm just going to select 10 straight off the bat, not really looking through it. But if I was doing this for real, I would just double check that they're all relevant. Okay, so once I've selected 10, if your niche or category is smaller, you can select less. Then select Run Cerebro. We're going to give this a second to load, but basically what it's doing is it's fetching all the data for these ASINs and what keywords they're basically ranking for or indexing for. Okay, once everything has loaded, what you can use is use the preset filter top keywords. Click that and then we can kind of adjust the filters if needed. I will explain them a little bit. So search volume, you can reduce this down to 200 depending on your niche. If it's a smaller niche, do 200, doesn't matter. We can go after those long tail keywords. For this example, I'll use 500. Competitor rank, keep this between 1 and 40, and then keep ranking competitors at 6 if you have chosen 10 products. If you've chosen less than 10 products, just do basically half of what you've chosen. So if you've done 8, just put in 4, okay? Then once you apply these filters, we're going to get a pretty good idea of what keywords each product is ranking for. And just so you understand, basically we have 10 ASINs. I'm asking it to filter out the results. Keywords with 500 search volume or more per month. Each competitor is ranked between 1 and 40 for this keyword, and at least 6 rank for that position. And then it will show those keywords. So you can see down below that the keywords are already hyper relevant. What we can do is we can sort by search volume. Why do I sort by search volume? Is because a lot of the times the highest search volume keyword is the one that you want to rank for. Now, for this example, if I was entering this niche and this category, I would probably not go after a 52,000 search volume keyword because the competition is probably going to be insane. It's actually not as bad for sponsored positions, but you can see here, this one has 66,000 reviews sold by Amazon Basics, 25,000 reviews. So this is where the organic ranking starts, 66,000, 1,800 actually quite low, 8,000, 40,000. So when I'm looking at this, you do somewhat want to be selective and realistic about what keywords to choose, okay? If you expect to come onto Amazon and start ranking for a 52,000 volumes keyword and you don't have the budget to back it up with PPC, you're gonna have a very hard time, okay? Okay, so right off the bat, like, sure, my product could apply to cats, but in this scenario or this example, mine does not. So I'm going to put at the top, exclude keywords that contain cat, and you can separate that out by comma. Like I saw another word called auto, and then once you type them in, separated by a comma, you can select apply and or remove any keywords that contain cat or auto. Okay, so what I would do next is filter out this and just make sure that there's no keywords with brand names or keywords that aren't relevant to my product. But for this example, I'm just going to use basically this keyword list here. So I'm going to export it as a CSV file, and then I can go open that up in Excel and filter it out more if I need to. Okay, so I've opened the file up in Excel. You can use Google Sheets, doesn't really matter. And you can see that it shows all the columns. I'm not really interested in all of them, so I'm just going to remove Cerebro IQ score. And I'm just going to be really looking at search volume column B. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to be selective of what keywords I want in the title. Obviously now it's a little harder because you cannot repeat a certain word more than twice. So you're going to get stuck very quickly with a word such as water. So you need to choose wisely. So in this example, I would probably choose water dispenser for dogs. I'm going to highlight that yellow. The only reason being is a pet water dispenser is more broad. I said at the beginning, mine is for dogs, okay? Looks like I have one more word to choose with water, which is crazy. Now that we only are able to use one word twice. Okay, water bowl for no spilling large dogs. Large dog, no, that's not relevant to my product. Food, no. Set that has cats. Dog, water feeder for dogs. 1300 search volume. I'm actually going to use water bowls for dogs. Okay, so I'm going to choose those two keywords as the words that contain water. And then what I would do is I'd kind of scan through to see if anything else doesn't contain the word water. So we can also add a filter. This is all coming back to the title guidelines. If you can't have the same word more than twice. So not really many options here. So the titles are becoming a lot more limited. Now, this keyword list is still important, but I'm just going to delete everything else. A lot of the other keywords you can use in the bullet points, the product description, and advertising. So don't get rid of them. They're still going to be useful. Okay, so now I have two main keywords that I want to use. Okay, so let's jump on to the next step. Okay, so in this next step, we're going to use AI. So you can use Claude or ChatGPT. And what we're essentially going to do is we're going to get our product features. You might already have a list for this, so you can skip this one step. But then what we're going to do is we're going to combine the keywords that we picked with the product features that we can add to the title. Okay, so for example, this is probably a terrible product to pick, but I'm just going to use a random product off Amazon for dog bowls. And I'm going to say, this is Claude. This is basically the same as ChatGPT. I just prefer it. Can you please list the main features of this product in bullet point form? Use the details below. Then I'm going to paste the bullet points that I just copied, and I'm going to enter that in. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. There's the main features of the product, just like that. Okay, next step. I'm going to open up the title guidelines, which are here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy from here all the way down to here. Okay. So I'm just copying the title guidelines that are available on the Amazon documents. You can just search for it, but I'm going to type in, okay, can you please create an Amazon title using the guidelines below and the 2 main keywords that I provide. Go keywords, semicolon, and then product title guidelines, semicolon. And I'm going to paste the guidelines that we just copied. And then I'm going to grab the 2 keywords that we wanted, and I'm going to add them in. I'm actually going to adjust the instructions real quickly. Can you please create an Amazon title using the guidelines below and the 2 keywords that I provide as exact match? Enter. Okay, it's going to respond to us basically with a title that's ready to go. Okay, so you can see here that my 2 keywords were basically water dispenser for dogs and water bowls for dogs. You can see straight away 7-liter water dispenser for dogs. That's my first keyword. And then stainless steel water bowls for dogs with no leak design, easy, clean, and refill for small dogs and cats. So obviously my product was not for cats. So then I could just say, remove anything relating to cats. Okay. Simple as that. And then you can just adjust it and play around with it, have that human overlook. For example, I would probably remove small dogs and just use dogs. But this is basically all you need to do, and you have a title that's ready to go. It tells the customer what it is, what's included, the features, stainless steel, no leak design, and it's using 2 really important keywords whilst also keeping in line with the title guidelines. So straight off the bat, this is a great title to use, and it's going to help you convert and start ranking for important keywords. Now, with the rest of the keywords that we had left over, make sure to use them in your bullet points, your alt text, and things like that, and also your backend search terms. I hope this video helps. I'm Dylan Heathcote from AMZ Joy. Thank you for watching.